Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm going to be looking at the next issue of Hobgoblin's appearance. It was the second appearance of Hobgoblin. This is more or less off the cuff, a little different here. I didn't really set out to do anything except for the fact that on this past week's Comicsgate Kings, the prompt was to draw one of Spider-Man's foes, and Hobgoblin shot right to mind. Something about the character. I know he was a derivative character, but he was one of the better ones. Where in a lot of ways, I think he's superior to the Green Goblin by the look that he has, by the fact that he's not, crazy. He's just ruthless, dangerous, he's smart, and he's more like an adventurer. Like he felt compelled to do this out of a little sense of fun almost. It's a little crazy. I mean, it's dangerous for him to do that, especially to face Spider-Man with that power that he has. And this is when he realizes how powerful Spider-Man is. So let me go through this little, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. I think I will. And here we go. Here's the cover. Now strikes the Hobgoblin. That's a great cover. Look at that. The background by John Romita Jr. and Al Milgrom inked it. He tended to go with the wiggly lines, what I was talking about last issue, a little too wiggly there. That's not how they were laid down, but he takes a little too many liberties, Milgram, as do a lot of other guys. But that's what you got to deal with in mainstream comics, monthly comics. You can get what you can, especially if you're not willing to ink it. Would have been something else if John Romita Jr. penciled and inked every single issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Would have been just better. I've seen his inking. It's good. If you remember, guys, the cover of Punisher Warzone, the first one with the red background, with the Punisher with all the what do you call that? When the bullets fly, the casings, like 100 casings. It's crazy. But the way he drew them, the way he inked it, really, really good. And I wish he did that. He's never inked an issue that he's ever drawn. But anyway, here we go. That's a great pose, by the way, on Spider-Man. Plus the Hobgoblin is great. And the pumpkin bomb blowing up that way. It's awesome. So let me just get this quick.
Pronouncenames.com.
I got to do this.
Yakoya.
Okay. According to YouTube pronunciation, it's Frank Yakoya. Yakoya. Giacoia. If anyone's out there with Spanish heritage or something, or let me know. Frank Yakoya. Frank Yakoya. I guess Yakoya. Anyway, midnight in New Jersey. Now strikes the Hobgoblin. Midnight in New Jersey. That's a really great setup here with the fence there coming through the visage of the Hobgoblin there. And again, it's really cool the way, hello out there, really cool the way Romita makes his left eye always a little bigger. I love that. I love that little differentiation there. It's nice. So there's this van busting out of this place with the name Osborne on it. I guess it's some kind of heist. 1 hour later, somebody surely pulled something big through here. You're positive that nothing was stolen, Mr. Mencken? I want to test something quick, guys. I've had little problems here and there with streaming, and I hope I don't lose power here. I lost it the other day, and then last night lost the internet. I don't know what the hell was going on. It's not good. It's not good to be the, I don't know, to have a possibility of just getting knocked off. But here we go. I want to make sure I didn't touch that. Okay, I can speak in there. Okay. Somebody surely pulled something big through here. You're positive that nothing was stolen, Mr. Mencken? As far as can be determined, our inventory is complete. I tell you, though, the upper management of Osborne Manufacturing is becoming very concerned about these break-ins. Now, there's multiple break-ins now, I guess, after the last issue, multiple. And we have a good idea what's happening, but I guess we'll just read on. This wasn't the first such incident then? No, there have been maybe a half dozen break-ins, nothing this big, thank heavens, in the last few weeks. Each has been at a different plant of ours, and in each case, nothing appeared to have been stolen, although we have discovered some storerooms that we didn't know we had, empty, of course. I've contacted one of our major stockholders in hopes that he might be able to shed some light on. I believe that's him now. I believe it's Harry Osborn, yeah, son of the original Norman Osborn, who's the Green Goblin, who was the Green Goblin. At this point, I think for could have been 20 years because he came back in the 90s, late 90s, I think. So he was long dead for like, at least 20 something years. Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, of course, they brought him back. And he was in Europe, I think, something along those lines. Pretty silly. Okay. I want to show you something also, an ad that I put in earlier. I told you I was a little reluctant to boost my posts on X because some of them weren't working. Today I had a real boon. They have now a $25 option for ads. So I said, okay, let me test it out. I think I had another one recently, but this one really blew up. It's up to 80,000 views, which is more than they offer because they say if you pay 25, you'll get up to maybe 20,000 views, maybe up to or 13. This went to 80, and there's a lot of give and take, a lot of rats, and it's funny. I was listening to Alex Hermosi. If you guys watch him, he's an entrepreneur, and he had this one video, and I just took a little pointers. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Okay, headline, this and that, strong stuff, and also like a, you want to isolate your audience, you want to focus on them instead of saying it's for everyone, because Pigman is not for everyone. It's for decent people who want to know the truth about this enemy. It's for Americans who love the country. It's for people who love freedom. It's not for communists and Muslims and lowlifes on the right who might as well be Muslims or communists. It's for these people. So I said, Pigman is, anyway, I'll get to it after. Let me continue, guys. I always deviate. Mr. Osborne, thank you for coming. I apologize for the hour. That's okay, Mencken. My wife and I were just watching the Late Show. What the devil's going on here? And after the police tell Harry Osborn what little they know, it's cold as hell on here. You could tell by clearly the cold from the breath and the wind blowing here and the line work. It's nice. And again, Yokio, I mispronounced it again, probably. Frank, whatever his name is. That is so cool. Sorry. I just got to check out something here. I just got a little message. So, okay. And after the police tell Harry Osborn what little they know, whew, sounds weird, all right. You say you found a series of these secret rooms, Mencken? Yes, sir. And they weren't on any floor plan. But, well, all the break-ins have been in properties which your late father, Norman Osborn, had a hand in building or acquiring. Could he have possibly... Hey, Lux. How's it going? Hidden something that someone has discovered? It's not only possible, I'd say it's probable. My father was a secretive man, Mencken. If he had something stashed away in there, we may never know what it is. New York City the next morning. Hobgoblin knew where to look. New York next morning. Good morning, sir. You're up early, ain't you? Couldn't sleep. Too bad. Today'd be a good day to stay in bed. These Romita Jr. is always praised for his quiet scene, quote unquote. That's like a backhanded compliment to some extent, Hey, Robert. Robert Victor Mills, hello. SXS, how's it going? Yes, I believe there was a Hobgoblin collection like a only Hobgoblin stories. I believe they had maybe one from the Spectacular Spider-Man where he got his powers finally. Um, this is the second appearance of Hobgoblin. It is all collected in the Roger Stern omnibus, the hardcover, with all his issues from Spectacular Spider-Man to Amazing Spider-Man. So it is collected there in hardcover. This is my individual copy here on Amazon Kindle Comixology, but I have it also in print. So it is collected. And I wouldn't recommend, if you haven't read them, SXS or anyone here, I wouldn't recommend experiencing it this way. I think you should experience it on your own. And then if you want to come back and check it out, cool. And guys, if you haven't, if you could like this video, if you can subscribe to my channel, thank you very much. It looks like I've been demonetized, which is unfortunate. I just got monetized recently. That's YouTube for you, right? But if you want to support me in other ways, you can go to my store, bossfawson.com, and you can also back Pigman, which got some new backers in the last few days, which is very cool. Very happy with that. So let me continue. So this shadowy figure is the Hobgoblin. We don't know his name. We don't know who he is. We don't know what the story is, which is great. Because unlike the Green Goblin, we only saw the Green Goblin. We were introduced to the Green Goblin first, and then we saw little tidbits of maybe, okay, the guy's got some kind of secretive thing, but we never knew who he was until years later. This, you meet him, finding out about the hidden weapons of Norman Osborn and his factories and all that, and you find out, and then you find out a little about his mindset last issue at the end. But that's about it. So it's a real mystery. It's a genuine mystery within comics. It lasted for a good number of years. And finally, in the 90s, I think Roger Stern wrote that 3-issue series with Ron French drawing, that he summed it all up, he put it all together, and told us who it was, because it was, I don't know if there was editorial mix-ups here and there, but you got suspects all over the place. You got Ned Leeds and Lance Bannon again. What Messendale, I think the guy who was the Jack-o'-lantern, some other characters, Lefty Donovan and so on. But then it was this one character, and I haven't said his name yet. I don't want to, actually. It's part of the mystery, I think. They do have a number of the suspects at some point. You could tell in issue 250. I'm not going to go through all of them, guys. I will go through a number of these choice issues. I'm only going to go through the ones that have the actual Hobgoblin, because there are some other ones who aren't really him. And then I'll read. It'll be a combination of those 3 issues, and I'll read them in one sitting. It's well written, well done. Roger Stern is just a great writer. He is like it's a master. When you read it, you know you're in good hands. It's not some incompetent hack who got his job through something else. He drew a mean Spider-Man, and to me, the second best Spider-Man run since Lee Ditko. Stern and Romita Jr. Hands down, the second best. Okay. Too bad. Today be a good day to stay in bed. And this shadowy figure says, well, look at this. Mystery break-in in Jersey. My little escapade made page 1. You can always depend on the Daily Bugle. I'll be giving all of the city's papers plenty of page 1 stories. So this guy who's plotting this career to be a criminal adventurer, Soon as I pull off a few more raids and consolidate my spoils, perhaps I should buy a few more shares of Osborne Manufacturing as a sort of repayment. They have, after all, unwittingly provided me with all of this. He always had that battle van. I guess this is the first appearance of it. Yeah, it is, because it goes up to the next 12, 13 issues. It's so funny. It was within 12 issues. This is issue 238. No, this is 239. Within 11 issues from here, Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. are off the book. Roger Stern went to the Avengers. Romita Jr. went to X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men. So it was very, very short lived, but man, what an impact it had. These early appearances of a Hobgoblin. Um, but it was so short, a handful of issues. That's it. Made a lot of impact. Um, so we know he's a well dressed guy. Um, we know a few things about him. He's smart. He's well spoken. He's not a thug. Uh, at least he's not some kind of street thug. Even though he killed his partner. Huh. Sorry, guys. Seeing some stuff. Okay. Or rather, their dearly departed founder has. The equipment that Norman Osborn developed for his criminal exploits as the Green Goblin rival anything I've ever seen. This armored battle wagon I picked up last night is the most remarkable. Okay, so interesting. This is Norman Osborn's battle van. I didn't know that. I thought, because I don't remember the Green Goblin driving a battle van. Do you guys remember that? I don't remember. He didn't need it. He had the glider, the Goblin glider, whatever that was called. Interesting. This armored battle wagon I picked up last night is the most remarkable thing yet. So, okay, so he went into one of his lairs and I guess saw that and just rode it out of there like a bat out of hell, out of one of Osborne's old companies. Huh. These establishing shots are really, really good. I know it's like, it's the norm, I guess, but I don't know about these days if it's the norm. It's just a nice shot looking into the city there, into a particular hospital, a particular building. I love that. And that inking right there is really good. Looks like it's a rolled up paper. Nice. Because the police would have a fit if they knew how easily I brought this into the city. From the journals I found in the first of Osborne's little hideaways, it's clear that he planned to use this as a mobile headquarters. But he never did, the poor mad fool. A little condescending there. He see himself as Osborne's superior, which is interesting, even though he's benefiting greatly from Osborne here. Um, all this at his disposal, and he left it to rust in New Jersey. No wonder his secret career cost him his life. But where the Green Goblin failed, the Hobgoblin shall triumph. Once I raid the last of Osborne's caches, I'll do things he never dreamed of. Perhaps I'll even settle accounts with his old enemy, Spider-Man. Yes, perhaps, once I find him. If the mysterious Hobgoblin had bothered to check the paper's lower headline, he might guess the present whereabouts of the Amazing Spider-Man. Black Cat in guarded condition. At that moment, in the intensive care ward of Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, lies in a critical condition following a near fatal shooting. Right. See Spectacular Spider-Man number 76. It had to do with the Owl and Dr. Octopus and their gangs. I gotta reread that. I think Bill Mantlo wrote it. Alan Milgram penciled it. Not that well. I think Jim Mooney inked it. It's a miracle she's alive. She almost died. Would have died if I hadn't gotten her here in time. I guess that means I saved her. Yeah. Wish I could have saved her from being gunned down by Dr. Octopus's goons. Octopus. He's still out there somewhere. Uh, it's interesting. There was never a story of Dr. Octopus in the run that Jeremy Jr. and Roger Stern had, but it's nice to see a little glimpse of what it could have looked like. That's a great shot. Octopus, he's still out there somewhere. By now, he's probably even replaced those mechanical arms I ripped off him. That's right. I think he ripped them off him, and he screamed as if his arms were being ripped off after he saw Black Cat go down. He's out there, free, while Felicia here is just barely holding on to life. There's no justice. Okay? My spider sense is buzzing. Someone's coming. Who would dare? Hold it right there. Where do you think? Oh, sorry, Captain DeWolf. I'm a little jumpy. No kidding. Look, I told you that the NYPD has everything well in hand. What are you doing here anyway? Go home and get some sleep. From the way you're wobbling around, you look like you could use it. Captain Gene DeWolf, there's a story, I won't say the title if you don't know, but it's really well done. Peter David and Rich Buckler, Spectacular Spider-Man. It's really good. That's worth rereading as well, and maybe even doing a video for it because it's really good. Deals with Captain Gene DeWolf and Spider-Man and the Sin Killer. Good stuff. And Buckler really did a really good job. Um, okay. Great shot to Spider-Man here by Romita Jr. Great poses. The perfect line work again. Look at this. That circle there, that circle there. The nose line, the mouth line, and then the back also when he does that. It's so damn good. I love it. It's it's like a it's like a cylinder. It's perfectly placed. And again, it's not technically how it would be precisely, by like a real life quote unquote, the way Alex Ross might do it. It's the way it's more aesthetically pleasing to make it that way. You see some other artists attempt to do that from a side angle. The back, it looks terrible. It looks wobbly. If you haven't seen my video on it, go to my channel, Bosch Fossen YouTube channel, and just check out the Spider-Man videos that I have. And there's one in particular, about 38 minutes long, and I, show and tell and draw what I mean about how the Romitas took the brilliant design of Ditko's and just took it next level. And I draw Spider-Man from the front, from the side, from the angle, from his forearm and legs and the back of his head, just to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about as I discuss it on the video. It's worth watching. Guess she's right. I feel about half dead. If Doc Ock tried anything now, I wouldn't be in any shape to stop him. Hello. There's a familiar door. I'd almost forgotten that she was in this hospital. I should probably see how she's doing. Madam Webb, it's me, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, you say? Come in, please. Say, you're looking a lot better. Do you remember me? I'm afraid not, young man, but the doctors have mentioned you to me. Then she doesn't remember that I'm Peter Parker, unless... Have your mental powers returned? My psychic abilities appear to be as dead as my vision, but thank you for caring to ask. I'm told that you risked your life to defend me from the juggernaut creature. It's funny, that's considered like the best two issues of the run by Stern and Romita. And it's not for me, for the simple fact that while it's really good, it's well told, and I will reread it and all that, I can't stand the fact that you had a shit inker like Jim Mooney just, giving it nothing, just flopping his brush, without any care for the way the web lines are and everything else. And again, there might be some Jim Mooney lovers out there. I doubt there are, but let's just say there are. Like, hey, that's unfair. I can't stand his shit. I really can't. I think he was the worst inker for Romita and also for both, Romita Senior and Junior. But he was a staple. He was doing Spider-Man for decades, inking it for decades, and he didn't know when to go home, and they didn't know when to tell him. And he stunk it up. It could have been a great. Now Terry Austin inked that story, guys. Forget about it. Forget about it. It would be considered even a greater classic. It's considered a classic now. I don't think so because of that factor. He undermined it. He undercut it. It could have been so much better if someone who give a damn inked it. Even if Dan Green inked it, who did a great job over Romita's pencils. Great job. And a few issues here, 2 issues here, Amazing Spider-Man, and then, of course, in the X-Men, over Romita Jr. and Silvestri. And used a brush, and he used it beautifully, unlike Jim Mooney. Again, he flopped it all over the place. Thick lines, indifferent lines, made his own lines. He didn't care. He didn't care what these guys laid down. He goes, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't give a shit. I hate that. I can't stand it. The word is that Vince Coletta did the same thing. Even though I prefer Vince Coletta, believe it or not, to Jim Mooney. Vince Coletta inking John Ray Jr. issue 191, 192, I believe, or 190, 191, when he came back and he did a 2-issue return drawn with the black costume. I mean, John Ray Jr. drew that black costume beautifully, and Vince Coletta inked it, and it was interesting. It looked like Steve Lealoha a little. a little modernistic, believe it or not. Even though he's an old school inker, he brought something different to it. Um, and again, I know people look at that and say, "Oh my God!" I noticed that from people who don't know about art. Really, to be blunt, they're like, "Oh, that's terrible." Like this to them. Look, what the hell, man? This terrible. I want the McFarlane. Oof. You know, it's not just quote unquote old school. It's that this is a heroic Spider-Man the way he's supposed to be, unlike a creepy little guy walking around like that with a big head and big eyes, droopy eyes, a lot of webbed lines. But anyway, before I make more enemies about that, let me just go on. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do a better job. I wish I were a lot more successful at saving folks, beating himself up. Hey, Liam, how's it going, Liam? Looking through issue 139 of Amazing Spider-Man with the second appearance of the Hobgoblin. This is when they finally meet. The reason why I'm doing this basically is because the all night. Well, what sparked it was that. Thanks, Mikey. Appreciate it. Um, Mikey put a link to Pigman in the chat. If you're on X, check out my campaign as well. I have a boosted post on there that really blew up. They have a $25 option now. If anyone's out there, if you have any campaigns, you should consider it. They now have a cheaper $25 option for to boost your posts on X, and this one blew up to 80,000. 80,000. So they said it could go up to 13,000 maybe if you spend that little. It's pretty damn good. And I got a lot of pushback from a lot of rats, so that's to be expected. People who actually openly call themselves Marxists, so that's good. And I like going back with them also, back and forth. It's fun. Um, Liam says, unintelligent design, better now, nothing better than some classic Spider-Man. Absolutely. I mean, this is classic. This is Roger Stern, John Romita Jr. at their best. And the second best run of Amazing Spider-Man since Lee and Kirby, hands down. If you guys want the best Spider-Man, you should get issue 1, Amazing Fantasy, issue 1 to 38, the first 2 annuals, and then jump to issue 226 to 250. And I believe at least one of those annuals, annual number 13, I think, or is it 10, with the first appearance, the introduction, the origin of Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, that Roger Stern, John Romita Jr. Co-created, and Romita Sr. inked. So here we go. I'm sure you did your best. Oh, would you be so kind as to turn on my radio? Surely. 1010 wins, all the news, all the time. Officials of Osborne Manufacturing admitted that last night's New Jersey break-in was just one of a series the company has suffered. Break-in? Osborne? Holy. Because he's taking responsibility for not doing the extra mile and digging in and finding out who was running from him. He let him go, and then he realized that maybe because of his not doing that, that another threat was born, similar to the Green Goblin. And of course, he'll beat himself up over it. He's not fully responsible for it. Not neither is he fully responsible for having his uncle die. But that's the thing about heroes; they will take a little more responsibility than they actually have. So he goes, I hate to say hello and run, Madam Webb, but I understand that you must be a busy man. I appreciate your stopping by. I'm sorry I couldn't remember you. Hey, I wouldn't let it worry you. You may have just been more help to me than you realize. Perhaps, with that smile. If that radio report was on the level, my problems may be about to double. I've been so preoccupied with Black Cat, that these past few days I hadn't had time to think about that first little fire and break-in at the Queen's Osborne plant. It's a great shot right there, flying through the city. And again, Romita Jr. really handles these establishing shots fantastically. Look at this. Just the buildings going on that angle. He's been doing this his entire career. He's been drawing comics now. It's hard to believe. I mean, over 40 years. 45 years. Unbelievable. If that's Okay, he goes, I better pick up a paper and check this out. I'm positive that, and he's still drawing Amazing Spider-Man, guys. With the next 2 or 3 issues of the current run, he's drawing a number of those issues. Um, hey, DJ Grave Mix, how's it going? There's some rats in CG too, from what I saw in the chat on the last trash cast. Huh. In the chat, right? Yeah. They've been, I mean, I just got really hit with a whole bunch of, but I told them because they're actually sharing them. I said, this vile scumbag about me, right? I'm like, thanks for, for promoting it, which they are. They're boosting it even more. They're stupid. That's why. But anyway, so I'm positive that the first break-in uncovered an old lair of the Green Goblin. If his stuff has fallen into the wrong hands, it could mean the end of Spider-Man. It's a little dramatic there, but that's funny. Mikey Getz says, there's quite a few people I don't like in CG, but what are you going to do? Yeah, there is that. There are some characters out there also. I mean, some nasty fucks too. They're not even War Campaign or Ripitards, but they're still, you know, calling me a Mossad agent because I think that Israel has a moral right to pound their enemies out of existence. Scum of the earth. I mean, rat fucks, and that is why I'm a Mossad agent. Piece of shit in there, really. And sometimes if I'm on Ethan's show, they try to super chat and they make themselves look dumb. And it just revealed themselves. I mean, I'm sick and tired of people who, on allegedly the right, who are collectivists. They might as well be leftists or Muslims because that's the same shit. They don't see people as individuals; they see them as groups. Period. They are collectivists. Um, DJ Grave Mix, yeah, that's true, Mike. Yeah, it is. Just, and any group you're gonna have assholes, you're gonna have rats in there. I don't care how good a group you might think you have, but if the major representatives are good, I think you have a decent movement. If the major representatives are rats, like the Nazi crap party and so on, no, it's rotten to the core. Okay, crossing the city at astounding speed, Spider-Man is not aware of passing close by the Midtown apartment of a determined rival. Okay, hold it. Bruce Campbell's chin, huh? Bruce Campbell's chin. It's funny. They throw stones, you launch rockets. If they still attack, that's on them. Well, that's the thing, There was a time where when you get attacked, you have the moral right to, pummel the enemy out of existence. And most people knew. Now, that time is always, meaning it's not that there was a time when that happened. Is that there's time that people understood that and were willing to support it. Um, someone who comes up and punches someone in the face has the right to be knocked out. Knocked out. That's how you handle it. You don't cry about it. You punch them out twice as hard. All right, let me go here. So this is Lance Bannon, Peter Parker's rival at the Daily Bugle. He's a photographer, and there's an idea that maybe, just maybe, he could be a Hobgoblin. That's what they're trying to set up here. Here, a few more other things going on. It wasn't, I think, until Tom DeFalco came on that the Ned Leeds aspect was brought in. I believe that's a case because I don't remember seeing Ned Leeds back at this time. I just don't. Him and Betty, I think, were out of the Daily Bugle. Okay, good. One more shot and we're done. It's about time. I'll have you know that I wouldn't do this for just anyone, Lance Bannon. She calls him by his full name. It's funny. Yeah. Just arc your back and arch your back a little more. I said your back, Amy. These photos are for gallery exhibition, not for some cheap skin mag. Oh, poo. There, that's better. Here's your robe. What the hell, man? Treat you like shit. Is that the best you can offer me? A few feet of cotton and a cup of Sanka? You, my dear, dear friend, are cheap. Uh-huh, whatever you say, hon. Boy, these ought to be real beauties. I'd be flattered, but I'm sure you're referring more to your work. Speaking of work, why are these news photo? Sorry, speaking of work, why are these news photos of Spider-Man lying here, unsold? Could it be that you were beaten out by someone with better pics? Someone by the name of Peter Parker? Look at her rubbing it in. Romita really made her very sexy. And look at this. The way she's running in there, the way she's rubbing it into him. Very glamorous. This is when Romita Senior, Junior was actually interested in making beautiful women and stuff and unique faces instead of the unnecessary like underbite that he puts now for almost everyone. The bigger noses, even the women have that now. It's unfortunate. He's still a damn good storyteller. I mean, his storytelling is it's always been great. It's just his execution and his attention to details isn't as what it used to be. Let's say. I take that silence to mean yes. Better watch out, Lance, or this Parker gent could wind up beating your time all the way down the line. Know what I mean? No way, babe. By the way, Miss Powell, you look pretty good in clothes, you know that? Seems to me I have heard that once or twice. How about meeting me for dinner tonight at Maxwell's Plum? I'd love to, if I'm not busy. Busy? Yeah, wanted to snap some Twilight skyscapes. Jonah Jameson is talking about starting a new picture magazine, and if I could get in on the ground floor. You don't have to explain. I understand. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay. Huh. Let me, Liam, unintelligent design. I'm assuming, Liam, you don't mind me identifying as Liam here? Just let me know. I am, Liam says, I am doing my apology tour with my tail between my legs. So, Bosh, I just want to say sorry if anything I said or did cause you any annoyance or discomfort. I have nothing but respect for you, man. Not at all, Liam. I hear a lot of shit about you. I definitely do. I've had nothing but good experience with you from that cover that I drew a few years ago. Uh, you've shown me nothing but respect. Directly with me. I've seen you have a run in with others. Yeah, I know you're Liam on Children's Eye. I just want to know that it's okay if I call you that. Because you choose a different screen name. So, but that's the name of your channel. So yeah, all good, Liam. Thanks for mentioning it. Appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going well with you. And looking forward to what you're doing with Dino King 2. I see some of the previous stuff. It looks great. Um, I'll hit you up one day talk about that. I just like what I'm seeing right now on that. So very very cool. And there were some moments also in Dino King that really impactful, man. I gotta say, it's like holy shit, did that just happen? Um, Good stuff. Okay. Intelligent design, yeah, I am fine with it. My original account got nuked. This was my, yeah, it sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, I just got demonetized on my channel. That sucks too. DJ Grave Mix, have you ever thought of trying to reach out to Gatsat? I'd love to see you two have a conversation. He had me on 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. He had me on. It was great. And then we met up. I had dinner with him a few times. He was having a little potential problem with some kind of savages, you know, threatening him. I told him what I do, what he could do, and so on. Take some precautions, and then I'll say it right now since you brought it up. I contacted him to ask him if he could just share something, because we text, and about Pigman, about my campaign. He never did. And I said, I see. I know the guy personally. I assume we were friends. I don't think it's too much of a problem for him to do that, but I think he's gotten in with Elon now. So this old cartoonist, maybe I'm not what he wants to be associated with these days. Unfortunately, he's a great guy, does good work. Guys, can you hear something? One second, guys. I have to. 1 second. Guys. Uh, Dealing with something here, but yeah, DJ Great Mix. It was 2017 or 2018. Talked about Drum Muhammad and Pigman and stuff. So it was a while back, a while back. But yeah, he's a good guy, even though doesn't want to be associated with me now for whatever reason. I don't know why, because he's as honest as they come when it comes to the Islamic threat, Islam and jihad, as honest as they come. So I just asked him. He has a huge platform. I asked him if he could just share a post that I had about my campaign when I just launched it. I asked a few people that I know actually who wouldn't have a problem with this. Anyway, if you guys can't hear what I'm hearing here, okay, cool. If you can, if it's a problem, I think I'm gonna just end this because there's this noise that's going on, which is outrageous, and no one's doing anything about it. Give me 1 more second, guys. It's preposterous. This sound is just it's never ending. Hello out there. His loss, yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, he's a good guy. I know him personally. We are friends. I don't know. But thanks for asking, and check it out. Check out the video. Again, I have no hard feelings. I just said I see. It's like, oh, okay. Why not? It's not because of controversy. Clearly, I mean, he's okay. Good. Thanks, hello out there. Appreciate it. Okay, you don't have to explain. I understand. I have to get to work too. I'll see you whenever. Sure. See you. Not nice shot there. Classic overhead shot to show a little more establishing shot of the apartment. Very, very cool and very 80s look here. The guy with the mullet with that low V-neck and the chain. It's so funny. Um, okay, so here's Lance Bannon here. Again, I don't know if because once you go into the private lives of these supporting characters, uh, the writer is telling you something. The writer is telling you something here. Um, you should take notice of him. In other words, it's not just that he'll bump into him at the Daily Bugle. We're going into his private life for 3 pages, almost 3 pages. So I've done it again, meaning the idea is that, okay, take notice of this guy. Maybe he's a hobgoblin. Maybe. I've done it again. Another morning started with her running off to her office at Bloomingdale's and me getting lost in photography. It all looked so promising. I had the perfect opportunity this morning. Why couldn't I do it? Why couldn't I get my tongue in gear and tell her how much she really means to me? Am I that afraid of a commitment to our relationship? Or am I just afraid that she'd say no? Mikey says, I checked the mail and they sent me a novel instead of Frank Miller's Ronin. Been a Hellboy. That sucks. So you ordered Ronin and they sent you a novel called Ronin? Oh, that's not good. That's terrible. Shortly downtown. I got this oversensitivity to sound, by the way, guys. I may have mentioned before, but being a redhead, if I'm not a redhead now, it's maybe I'm older. Supposedly, I'm called blonde now, which is funny to me. I've always been a redhead. We have an oversensitivity to things, uh, emotions, the physicality. I get more goosebumps than anyone I know when I listen to music. It affects me in certain ways. I get more out of art. To be blunt, I just do. Redheads, we're hypersensitive. They call it a power. Sometimes, it's not the greater power because if I was in the dentist's office, if I ever got a root canal, I had to get 3 shots at least to because I felt it no matter what, you know, to try to knock out the pain. Anyway, so I'm just hearing these things a little more. But thanks, Mikey. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, back Pigman. I would really, really appreciate your support. Um, I think you'll like it. I really, really do. I think once you get the issue, you will want to get to issue 2 to find out what the hell happened. That's right. That's right, Liam. Passionate, but look at how it backfires on me. LOL. That's the thing, we run hot, but at the same time, we are we do have volition. We can choose how to respond, how to react, and we should always keep that in mind. Heal faster, pain resistance, powerful emotions. It's true. There's something I've never broken it, anything either, in my life, and I've been active as hell in my life. Um, but there's something about certain sounds also they like go into my head in a real way, and I'm like, it really bothers me. I try not to let it bother me, but certain sounds do. And again, music, movies, and especially when you got the double whammy or triple whammy of the movies, the visuals, the music in the movies, the emotional content of the moment in a scene. I mean, I get choked up, certain art in certain ways and novels. I gotta put down Ayn Rand's novels often when I reread them. The impact that it has on an emotional level. Don't listen to the piece of shit liar rats who say, "Oh, she's a cold, this and that bullshit." She gets deep into your head and into your emotions, and it's unforgettable stuff. And I can reread those. I've been rereading those for decades now, so it's awesome. But yeah, there is something about the redhead superpowers, as they call it. Uh, you know, it's like Daryl. He feels a little more. He's also a redhead, right? So imagine that being redhead plus the enhanced powers. Oh man, he's in trouble. But also the act of sex for Matt Murdock. I think Miller, talked about it in one issue in the interview issue. Think about that. Think about how he feels, right? The oversensitivity of everything, right? He can actually read newsprint by reading the actual ink on there. Imagine what he can feel. Incredible. Um, okay, so here we go again. Thanks for being here, guys. As always, I appreciate the give and take always. Always appreciate it. So here we go. These great images of Spider-Man by John Romita Jr. and Peter Parker has been stinking it up. He hasn't showered. He hasn't shaved. Looks like shit. Shortly downtown, I thought that Newsy was gonna jump out of his socks when I dropped down and asked him for a Daily Bugle. Nice of him to give me one for free. Yeah, because he was scared. He said, "Here, here." Probably just floated down. Moments later, as the amazing web spinner drops through an easily open skylight. Ah, be it ever so humble. I'm probably the only New Yorker who regularly enters his apartment through the bathroom. This was certainly informative. It was good to get the whole story, even if it does tend to fuel my paranoia. Um, Liam says, I drank a whole bottle of vodka live twice, and they still say it's fake. The second time I walked into a store, pulled it off the shelf and drank it, people didn't believe. Ginger power. That's right, Liam. Ginger power. Unite. So funny. There is that though. It's true. It is a thing. I've done my research. Enough things happen in my life where I'm like, what the hell's going on here? My family doesn't have that. They don't react that way. They don't have this or that, and so on. Again, run a little hot, but of course, doesn't mean you have to be ruled by it. That's a problem. It doesn't mean you got to be ruled by it. You can actually put it in check. You can do that. Put it in check, keep it cool, and express it. Express it like when I'm angry sometimes, I'm like, I'm fucking angry. And usually that tends to let it go a little, just by the acknowledgement, the conscious acknowledgement of it. It's important to do. And then you can just, unless you're, a drama lover and love, roasting people on that, hot, hot, hot spot that you're in. Not just roasting, but losing your shit. Also, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's best to be sober, and I'm not talking about drink either. It's best to be sober when you're dealing with others. To be calm, cool, and collected. It's important. That's when you can handle things the best. When you're hot as hell, absolutely not. You shouldn't be driving when you're hot as hell. You shouldn't be doing a lot of things when you're hot as hell. Um, but we're not, sometimes it gets the best of us. Okay, so Peter Parker just came home. He's like, hey, what's that smell? P.U. I think it's me, and no wonder. I've been running, jumping, fighting, sweating in this costume for well over 48 hours. I need a shower pronto. He gives me a rock solid build also, Romita Jr. If you see Parker's body, he's just rock solid. He's built. He's not a big guy, but he's 5'10", 165, and rock solid. I remember there's one scene, I don't know if it was after the Juggernaut, he went to visit Aunt May in the hospital. He's really worried about her. And a doctor said, son, hold on. And he grabbed his arm. He was like, my God, the build on this guy. He's like steel, his muscles. I love that. Roger Stern respected the power of Spider-Man, as did Jim Shooter. They never pretended that he was a street level, hero. He's not. Again, he could lift 10 tons. He could jump 40 feet. He can stick to walls. He has a spider sense. He's fast as hell. This guy's a powerful being. And I love that aspect of it. Um, Liam says, I hold back so much, man. It's not good because then I build up and blow up. But enough of my emotional deficiencies, Spider-Man. That's the thing, Liam. You got to let it out, though. You know, you I've learned this, if anything, it's like I don't blow up. I don't. Uh, of course, people who know me or people who know my work, oh yeah, yeah. I don't actually. I always acknowledge and I express it in words. I draw it down. I do something. I express it in ways that are not bad for me or others. They're not destructive. I can walk calmly, walk away sometimes if I'm really, and I don't blow up. I've known people who implode after keeping everything in for years, and it blows up lives, blows up families. Can't do that. We can't do that. We got to find ways to let it out. There are always better ways to let it out than people think. And that's become a habit also. But there are ways to let it out. Scold, Trevor. You always start these when I'm away from my computer. Hilarious. Well, glad you're here and glad everyone's here. So very, very cool. It says 143 eyeballs on, I guess, mainly X. That's my biggest platform, but I guess on YouTube as well, because it looks like all you guys are here. But I always get a smaller audience on YouTube, but a big audience on X. I had like 900 to 1,000 the other day, which for me is a big deal. It's a big deal because I got a very small platform. I have 1,700 followers on YouTube. But again, guys, if you like my channel, if you like my stuff, I discuss a lot of comic books, a lot of even some obscure ones. I love talking about them. I will read, every word of them and take breaks and talk to you guys. And of course, I do Pigman, and I'm doing another project right now. It's 350 pages. It's a graphic novel adaptation. It's something that is a dream come true, flat out, and I'll be able to announce it at some point. Hopefully this year, uh, summer. I hope. That's right. Liam said, "Look how happy Peter is taking a shower." Yeah, because he stinks. He's like, "Damn." Um, DJ, I can't get used to watching streams on X. I hear you. I do though. If that's the only outlet sometimes that people have, I'm thinking of maybe doing a um, what's it called, guys? Not a meetup. It's a thing where I can start something and you guys can actually use your voice to communicate. We can have a conversation on the air. Thinking about that. Thinking about that. Maybe after I release Pigman, you guys all get it, and then we can talk about it. Good, bad, and the ugly, whatever you guys want to, unload on me, or you want to talk about it and what you liked, and let's do it at one point. Let's make a date of it. All right, so here we go. Oh yeah, that's more like it. I'll start to feel almost human again. Now, what was I thinking about? Oh, right, the break-ins. According to the Bugle, they started just after the fire in Queens, and that took place the very day I lost a bank robber in the sewers just outside the Osborne warehouse. This is pretty cool that Roger Stern connected the beginnings of the Hobgoblin with Peter. He connected it, made him feel a little guilty about it. That's reminiscent of Uncle Ben and the robber. So that's really a smart storytelling, connecting it, making it a little more personal. For Peter to think, if I didn't do that, if I did that, maybe this wouldn't have happened, and so on. So he holds himself responsible for that. With great power comes great responsibility, but also he takes a little too much responsibility for things that other people do. The criminal who killed Uncle Ben, it was his fault completely. He's the killer. That great moment in Batman Year One, where no, in Batman Begins, excuse me, the movie Batman Year One was great too. I also reviewed that, guys. Check it out. That Born Again. I got my whole playlist. Check them out. But Batman Begins, young Bruce Wayne is afraid of bats. They go to a play with bats. People can say, "What the hell is his father doing?" Well, his father's trying to toughen him up. I'm assuming. Okay, he's trying to say, expose him to it little. Son, I don't want you to live your life afraid. That's what the subtext was, at least. And then he says, and he starts to shake and he tells his father to leave. So they do leave and they go through the back. And then the criminal goes there, Joe Chill, and kills the Waynes. And Wayne's Thomas Wayne's last words to Bruce: "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." And then they go home. Well, Bruce goes home. The little boy, maybe 10 years old, maybe 12, and he just starts breaking down and starts crying. He goes, "Alfred, it's my fault." He's overwhelmed with the guilt, and Alfred walks right up to him. No, 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 no. It's his fault and his fault alone. And he had to tell him that because he's like, I'm not going to let this poor kid carry that weight. But he did carry it throughout the entire movie. If you remember, even when he was talking to Ra's al Ghul, he had this overwhelming guilt that it's his fault, that his parents would be alive if he didn't leave that theater. People would even argue, some rat bastard would say, "Oh yeah, it is his fault. If they didn't leave, yeah, sure. It's a little kid, you know. It's the criminal's fault. It's this guy's fault who ends up being a hobgoblin, and so on and so on." Spaces. Thanks, DJ Great Mix. Yeah. Um, Warzard, the bored Time Lord. Hey, Warzard. I remember in fifth grade, a comic my friend let me read where Hobgoblin fought the Jack-o'-lantern. It was great. Yeah, I remember that as well. I think that was Roger Stern returned or someone else writing it. I know Ramita Sr. drew. It was actually the Goblins, Hobgoblin, Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and who ended up being the Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin. It's so funny. I still want to resist saying the name because I want to get to the point where we reveal it through the story. I just do. Hill, Art. How's it going, man? Ha! Peter's butt. It's hilarious. They took it just enough in there. All right, guys. So here's Peter. He's dwelling on it, on his responsibility for this possible new threat. As far as I know, the robber is still missing. He has to be the trigger to all this. It's just too big a coincidence otherwise. I know that Norman Osborn kept stores of his goblin stuff hidden in various old buildings, and someone's been raiding buildings that he once owned. What if the first place had a list of the goblin's lairs and the robber or somebody got a hold of it? This is good thinking. Peter's a smart guy. I mean, he's a genius. They writers don't really play that up. Sometimes they overplay it also, but he's a genius. You cannot be a 15-year-old and create the web shooters without being a genius. That's why I do resent some of the times when people, oh, okay, so Peter did create the web shooters in the new Marvel iteration. Okay, good, good. Cool. He goes, but why would Osborn have written information like that down unless he kept a journal? Osborn was just crazy enough to do that. Again, another reference to Osborn's craziness from Peter and whoever the Hobgoblin is. And if he did keep journals, maybe he wrote down the fact that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Huh. That's what he's concerned about. Whoever's behind the break-ins might be about to discover my secret, if he hasn't already. I know the location of only 2 of the Goblin's old hideouts. I owe it to myself to check them out soon as I rest a bit. Considerably later. Ring. Huh? Ring. Okay, okay. Hello? Hello, Peter? This is Amy. Amy Powell. Remember we ran into each other at the Daily Bugle the other day? I didn't have any plans for this evening, and I was wondering if you'd like to meet me at Maxwell's Plum for a bit of dinner. Dinner? What time is it? Now, about 6:45. 6:45? I've been asleep nearly 10 hours. In his mind. Thanks, but I really can't make it. Maybe some other time. Bye. What? Hello? I don't believe it. He hung up on me. That's hilarious. Had his attractive woman showing interest in him, and he's just worried about the fact that he overslept. Must have been more worn out. So again, he's putting his responsibilities above this latest love interest potential, because he wants to go check out the goblin lairs. Must have been more worn out than I thought. Head still feels like bees are living in it, and my stomach thinks my throat's been cut. I'll have to get by with a sandwich and a blast of milk. No time for anything more. Bolting down his make-do dinner. I love that. That's a nice way of putting it, Roger Stern. Bolting down his make-do dinner, the Amazing Spider-Man is soon swinging over the city streets to the closer of his destinations, an old, ill-kept warehouse just off 23rd Street and 9th Avenue. Boom! Crashes through the wall. The windows, what's left of the wood. This place is boarded up tighter than a drum, but that doesn't mean anything. After that article in today's paper, anyone who's been lifting Osborn's old equipment would start playing things a lot more cautiously. Blast it! Whoever it is has already been here. The place has been picked clean, and recently from the marks on the floor. Boom! Pops out of there super fast. Look at that. Is the only character who does this, It's so awesome. He's such a unique character, Spider-Man. The way he moves, the way he goes through the city with the webs and everything. It's just, it's awesome. It's such a unique character. That's bad, real bad. I'm left with only one place to check, and he could have struck there already too. The Goblin had a lair in the back of the old Village Theater off 2nd Avenue. There hasn't been a production there since I was an undergrad. So why is the stage door light on? Maybe someone turned it on by mistake. Someone inside. My spider sense is buzzing a full-scale warning. This must be the payoff. Croom! Spider-Man? Here? Now? It's the first shot we see, the first full shot in this issue at least. Right as rain, fright face. Who are you supposed to be? It's so cool the confidence that Spider-Man has, years of adventuring, years of being who he is. He just walks up to this complete stranger. And again, part of it is also a little concern. That's why he likes to roast these guys to offset his fear at times. Right as rain, fright face. Who are you supposed to be? The costume is familiar, but if you're trying to be the Green Goblin, you're using the wrong color scheme. He sure has the Goblin's old gimmicks up his sleeve, though. Nice try, Chuckles, but you'll have to be faster than that. I uh, I like it also, guys. The whole hunchback thing that he has. You know, uh, I drew it the old day. If you haven't seen it, check this out, guys. This is what I drew. This is what sparked my revisiting all this. It was Comic King's Spider-Man's foes was the theme, and I just wanted to draw Hobgoblin, and I added the Spider-Man, of course. But he's always like leaned over, bent over, and you know, like a more of a creepy villain. It's very, very cool. Okay. Hill art. Art the Lurker. All good, man. Uh, Art says they only play it up as a plot device. They don't show him being a genius regularly like Reader Stark. Absolutely true. They don't. It's you know, I think he's proven himself more than worthy of being recognized as such. But I don't know. They want to go so many ways with him. They want to keep him young. They want to keep him not as make him clearly as smart as the other guys and so on. But you know, the character really has to be. I don't know. I think the more intelligent the writer, the better the character comes off. Roger Stern's intelligent. Stan Lee, Jim Shooter. He wrote a kick-ass Spider-Man. I loved his version in the Secret Wars. Mikey, sorry, Bosh in chat. I'm watching my Celtics. I'll still, Mikey. They're on. I'm gonna check it out myself because I've been a years long watcher of the NBA until 2020 when I stopped cold when they had that stupid commercial. Racism is everywhere. The first commercial break, racism is everywhere. I say, fuck you. That's it. I'm tired of this shit. Sports is supposed to keep that shit at a distance. That kind of divisive, uh, propaganda, which is what it is. Um, anyway, but it's been creeping on me a little here and there. I've been watching some of the games and the few that began this week. Fantastic. The competition is back, at least to me. I haven't watched it for years, but from what I gather, I mean, what would you say, Mikey? That you think the competitive fire is a little back in some of these series? I think so. What I was able to see for the last few, especially down the line, the fourth quarter from the Nuggets and Oklahoma City and the Thunder, and then the Knicks with the Celtics, and also with the incredible with the Cavs and the Pacers. What the hell went on there? Crazy, man. But hey, Jeremy, how's it going? All right, guys. So let me get back here. This is the first encounter with Spider-Man and the Hobgoblin. Um, that's right, Liam. He is Spider-Man, not Spider-Boy. The scene with him showering now action. Dark Knight 2 is longer than Dark Knight 1 because I have to pivot. Oh, Dark Knight 2. That's so funny. Dino King 2 is longer than Dino King 1 because I have to pivot since he is my flagship now, but I want to get back to 24-page books after EOE. Very, very cool. It depends on the story. My first book was 81 pages. Pigman now, well, I did 100 pages of Pigman, but now it'll be at least 300 pages. The current one I'm doing will be 350. One that I was working on, it was a 500-page graphic novel. I did 180 pages. And I've done, thousands of political cartoons. I've also done 7 books, so a lot of work out there, but it depends. Some are just bigger than others. Some require them to be bigger. They just got to be bigger. It's a bigger story, a bigger telling of it. That's what it is. Um, Trevor, I seem to recall that eventually Hobgoblin's costume becomes ragged and he's creepier. Was that in a story thing or an artist? I think it was a story thing. I think he became like a demon, if I remember correctly, Trevor. I think it was Messendale. I think it was the old jack-o'-lantern. He became like a demon, a physical demon. And then, there were so many iterations, and I just always liked this one, the Roger Stern one. And we get it here for at least a handful of issues. And then I guess 15 years later from here, with that follow up, with that final telling, the 3 issue, and then now also the Hobgoblin's showing up in the regular modern comics also, which is cool. You know, I'll get those issues absolutely. Um, Liam says, I got to reread those old books and take notes. Such good pacing. Absolutely. It's great, great stuff, man. Yeah, I mean, we love these things. We read them all. And if I mean, we read them to enjoy them. Absolutely. But then we can also break them down. You can't help but do that once you're creating comics. You cannot help it. But you still also can get back to just enjoying them for what they are after that process. There is that. Um, it's not always going to be, not, artists, well, I can enjoy it ever again. Of course you can. Of course you can. But there is that point where when you want to make them, you start to analyze them, overanalyze them, and not appreciate them as much for the story that's being told. You want to break down, oh man, look what the writer did there, look what the artist did there, and so on. But you can get back to that after a while. It just depends, especially if it's a good story, you can help it. You were engaged, you're roped in. Hey, Grey Wolf. Thanks. Yeah, Liam. I have 220 or 30 drawn. It'll end up being 350, and the script was about 300 something. I'd have to cut that down, but it's exciting. It's really exciting. Grey Wolf say, "Yep, I'm shooting for 70 pages on my second Renfield graphic novel. Excellent, man. Yeah, some things just require more. That's just the way it is. Um, you're telling more. I remember. Okay, if you guys remember Blankets, I forgot his name, and I'm glad actually. He was such a schmuck. He made a graphic novel called Blankets, right? About a guy, he had a breakup, and he was with a blanket. It was such a pussy graphic novel. Anyway, the guy did that, and that story did never ever ever justify 500 pages ever. It never required it, never justified it ever. And then he did a stupid thing post 9/11 called Habibi, which was, of course, like a pro Islam bullshit thing. And still, guys, considering all of that, right, he went to kiss Islam's ass and he got called out by a Muslim in an interview, for not knowing enough. You know, anyway, it didn't justify 500 pages for a stupid story like that. Let me just say that. Um, Liam says, Evening, Flatty. How's it going? He's got two beams targeting two different directions from one finger blast. Do you imagine two fast shots, a scatter shot, or dual beam? You're talking about the goblin there? He does have that blast. That's what I did myself. I gave him that finger blast. I don't remember the Green Goblin doing that. I might be wrong. I just don't remember that. But then again, he is wearing some of the Green Goblin's clothing here, so maybe the Green Goblin did have that. He had a lot of tricks up his sleeves, the bats, the razor bats, and so on. Or that's just the Hobgoblin saying, you know what? I'm mixing matching probably. I don't know. Um, very, very cool, Flutie. Exhausted, just gotten from the office, but comics with Bosch and chat can wash all that away. Very, very cool, my man. Um, mm. Liam says the 70 to 75 mark is the way to go purely for shipping. If you go over, you tend to go to the next weight class, significantly increasing your shipping costs. There is that, Liam, but at the same time, if your story is going to be 200 pages, it's going to be 200 pages. That's just the way it is. You know, that's just the way it is. And hopefully you make enough where you make some kind of profit with the exorbitant shipping costs, which are outrageous overseas, outrageous. It's unbelievable. Um, hey, Flip City, how's it going? Mucky Habibi was tedious. I couldn't finish it. I looked through it. I read at least one or two books of his. I was going to all of the small press conventions. I saw him there and stuff. And he was such a I mean, how can a beta? He really was. Um, he had a mean brushwork. I will give him that. He had a mean brushwork. His brush line was fantastic. He was a good cartoonist. Um, but he was also a wimp, and he had the shit politics of every leftist hack in those places. I remember going at the. It's so funny. People hid who they were. A handful of people who I knew there hid who they were. I never gave a fuck. I'm at the small press convention. I got all these left wingers. I got all these people, right? And you got this guy going table to table and asking people who they're going to vote for. I think that's a little aggressive question. Or he assumed everyone's going to say Kerry at that time. This is 2004. That was my first convention experience. Go there and he says, I say, well, Bush. I said, I think he's a piece of shit, but he's better than that piece of shit, and he's going to do less damage to this country. The guy was like in absolute shock. It's like, you're going to ask a question, you better expect someone's going to deviate from everyone else. And again, I didn't like Bush. I thought he was a pussy also. Islam means peace, all that bullshit. I chucked my free market principles in order to save the free market, all that nonsense, okay? And anyway, but I'm not going to vote for a communist. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do that. So I said that, and it became some of a little story there. And I wasn't reckless about it, meaning I'm not like, but I'm not a careerist in the sense where I'm going to hide who I am. People knew exactly who I was. They accepted me until I got to say, when Pigman, even the concept came out, because I was blogging Pigman for a while. I was getting prepared. I was reading everything I could get my hands on about Islam. And as I was doing it, I was sending out images on my blog of what was to come, what this character was, who he was, and so on. And I made him in all these different drawings, which I collected in my book that's now out of print, Prop Piganda, Drawing the Line Against Jihad. Anyway, so when they found out, friends who I knew, as far as I knew, I was friends with them, fellow cartoonists, going to dinner, drinking, going out to all the conferences, everything, right? The small press in Mocha, New York City, the Maryland, SPX, the San Diego Comic Con, which is a big convention. It's not one of the small press, but anyway, I always got tables at those three events, mainly at those, and then there was another one here and there, but those were the main ones for a few years, a handful of years, and then I saw two people. I mentioned it before, but two people that I knew. I said, "Hey," and I'm walking up to them, and they literally turn their backs on me and walk away. And I gotta say, I was a little hurt. I was like, "Whoa!" Now I expect it. If it doesn't happen, I get a little surprised. That's where things are. But simply because I'm taking on, even at the conceptual level of Pigman, that was enough to make people turn on me. People who know me, who got along with me, who know me to be a good person. Um, yeah. Anyway, Craig Thompson, JEC. Craig Thompson. Thanks, man. Craig Thompson. That's right. That's his name. Craig Thompson. I think he did a 500-page thing about ginger root or something, slothing. Yeah, he's, you know, so funny. I remember he was on the cusp or something of a big deal, and then he made Habibi. And again, he got knocked down by this Muslim reviewer. Not reviewer, I think he did an interview at NPR or somewhere or something like that, or a small press something. And then she came on and she was challenging him and, basically calling him like a fake. He don't know what he's talking about. Every Muslim will do that to defend Islam, but he wasn't even hard against it. He was kissing its ass, basically, is what he was doing in his own fashion, out of ignorance, clearly. Um, Not sure what you're referring to here, Art, but I know what you mean. After I learned to make 3D models, I started looking at the games and the CGI films differently for a while. Okay, I see. Right. Heard they joined for some time, like knowing how the magic trick is done. Exactly. There is that stage where you cannot help but analyze against your will almost, because you're like, fuck, I just want to enjoy this. But you can't help it. There's that stage. And again, you overcome that. I have. And then you can just enjoy it for what it is. But of course, when I'm talking about it here, I cannot help but point out certain things and so on. as I did with Daredevil Born Again and stuff. But this is just very classic, traditional comic book storytelling and art. And it is something that is long in the past, unfortunately. But this is classic stuff right here. Classic. Liam, there is a new Islamic cartoon on Paramount that is a post 9/11 comedy about an Islamic family. I have been too busy to look into it. You heard anything? I haven't, Liam. And I'm glad I haven't. That means it probably bombed out. It's a lie. I remember they tried to do that with the Green Lantern, the Muslim Green Lantern that Jeff Johns stupidly created for some reason. He said he wanted to create something that he knows, like, you're a Christian. What do you mean? Why'd you create a Muslim? Why? If you want to write something you know, why not make him a Christian? But he made him Muslim because it was, I guess, more acceptable to his higher ups. Who knows? Anyway, so they made him out to be this. He was a Muslim family, right? And 9/11 happens. It's like this, also, guys. When you introduce the reality of 9/11 into your comics, and Batman and Superman and all the Justice League are there, it's like you're introducing this idea that they have to go and do something about it. So I can't stand that shit. The same they did with Marvel. Once you introduce this idea that there is an enemy out there flying planes into buildings, killing thousands of Americans, what? You're not going to have your superheroes do something about it? But they want it 10 ways. They want to put that in there and the reason why they put the attack in there is so they can show the Muslim family being looked at in strange ways when they're walking down the street after 9/11 because they're victims. Not the ones who, were forced to jump from towers, but Muslims who were looked at crossways. It's disgusting. Terrible. So, and that character, I don't think he took off. Night Runner, absolutely not. He didn't take off. That Grant Morrison tried to create this. That landed me on the Daily Show, 2011. I mocked DC for having this Muslim counterpart of Batman in France, and I made a cartoon of Batman in the Batcave, and he's watching the TV there, and the TV says that his Batman blew up the Eiffel Tower. And he's like, I can't believe it. And Alfred has lost respect for me. He goes, Bruce. He called him Bruce in my cartoon because he's lost. He goes, I told you you should have read this before you recruited a Muslim to be your Muslim Batman. And then in the corner, you see the flip thing, and it's a Joker saying, Islam means peace. Because that's what an evil, scumbag would say. That vicious lie that we've been told for the last 20 years. But anyway, yeah. That was a tangent, but yeah, cool. Yeah, Mikey says, Mikey guess, sorry, Liam, but international shipping kills me. I could barely afford the Dino King I got on eBay. It's tough, man. It never was that way. It was always more expensive, but not the way it is now. Now it could be $40 sometimes, twice as much as the book sometimes. It's outrageous. Outrageous. And then also there's that aspect of will it get to me is the question also, and will it get to them? And fortunately, I've only had one or two times that it didn't get to people, but still, man. JEC, not even good brushwork. He's a brush pen guy. Is that right, JC? He's not an actual brushwork guy? Because I do the brush. I use the what do you call it? The Winsor Newton Series 7, number 2. I just use this actually to make 2 of the recreations of my Muhammad cartoon that I won the contest for. And then I also have this, which is more, I use this actually all day, the bulk of it for the, let me show you guys. It's a fantastic pen, and it's an actual brush in there. You put cartridges in there, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's no name on this. I can find out what it is, but I remember I drew Muhammad on a stream a little while back after but it's really, really good, and it works well. But yeah, that's a classic brush there. I drew Muhammad after the commissioner of police in the UK threatened Americans by saying, "We will extradite you. We will extradite you if you, write something on social media that they don't like." So I drew him as Hitler Muhammad, and then I went online and just drew Muhammad live as I was recording. It wasn't a live thing. I don't think I was able to do. I don't think I did live streams back then. But I did that, and I used this brush. I used this brush also for most of the Hobgoblin drawing that I did. Um, so cool. Got a lot of commentary here, guys. I'm gonna read a few more, and then I'm gonna finish this up. And I got to get going. Um, okay, JAC. Not even good brushwork. I like the brushwork that I saw. He did wield a mean brush. He definitely did. I saw that work also, so maybe you know something different. Um, Liam, fuck communism, indeed. Fuck communism, fuck Islam as well. Um, Mikey says about Dino King, I loved it, Liam. You're very talented and can convince EVS about manga. LOL. It's funny, guys. I didn't see this actually, but someone mentioned that this drawing of mine on the Comicsgate Kings stream last week, that it looks like manga. Now I wouldn't know that, but once he said that, I was like, maybe I can see it. And I'm always adding the superhero. I'll make the villain, dominant if that's the theme. But I also want to put at least a little aspect of the superhero in there, of the main superhero. And maybe it does. I don't know. And if you haven't seen this, also, Spring Ball by Shanth on Jetty, and I still haven't gotten to it. I'm going to finish it up, ink it, color it, and just send it to him as a thank you for that incredible trailer that he made for me. If you haven't seen it, guys, I'm going to show you after. It's fantastic. The Pigman trailer that he made for me. Beautiful. So let me continue, guys. Thanks, Beaner. Again, I do appreciate it. Piganda. That's right, Mucky. Someone just called my work propaganda. I'm like, well, it is counter propaganda, is what it really is. It's counter communist propaganda, counter Islamic propaganda, and just telling the truth about it in as entertaining a way as I can while putting down the enemy in my story, like the mad dogs they are, and also fighting the culture war that is being waged that people deny is actually being waged. It actually is. There's a desire for Muslims to Islamize everything. There's a desire for communists to communize everything. It's happening, and the reason why they've been pretty successful in it is that there's a denial about the fact that's happening. That's terrible. We got to fight it on all fronts, also. Yeah, that's right. Art propaganda used to fight Islamic bigotry. That's right. Pigman wears that pigskin leather to fight, to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry. I can't help but always get that and say it, and I always get a little smirk. It's fun. Liam says terrorism is evil, like fear, murdering innocent people is horrible. So Dr. Doom blows up a building, he gets punched. Terrorists do it. Uh-oh, they're brown. The FF sit on their hands, right? That's the thing, it's like you got to go all the way, guys. I mean, once you get these savages to mass slaughter innocents and mass rape them and kill even children, babies, there's no answer to them except kill them. You have to kill them. That's what Pigman does. He gets to the point where it's even acknowledged in the story by a politician at one point, because there's a joint session in Congress where they're trying to condemn Pigman, in a bipartisan vote. And one guy just pissed off at it. He was like, "Guys, you don't understand. This guy's been taken out in complete terrorist groups, and no one has taken their place." You know. I think we got someone here. My man, Shanth. How's it going, man? How's it going? Good to have you here. Appreciate it, man. Guys, back Spring Ball. It looks fantastic. Even though I hate McFarlane's Spider-Man, I told Shanth the other day, I love McFarlane's Hulk, but Shanth, your Spring Ball looks heroic to me. It doesn't look creepy in the way that now maybe that was your intention. Whatever it is, it came through. He's a heroic, in his movements, in his figures, the way I see it. I didn't like the. I mean, look at this. Look at this Spider-Man. He's a heroic figure. I love that. Spider-Man shouldn't be all creeped out, like shoulders over his head and stuff, and his leg up to his ears, his knee up to his ears and stuff, you know. But my man, so thanks, Jonathan. Again, that trailer is fantastic. You animated it, brought it to life. I haven't seen Pigman brought to life except for my 3D model here, but it's awesome, man. And by that I mean the sculpt, the actual statue, not 3D models. That's hilarious. It's funny. People are like 3D models, you mother. Uh, you guys are exchanging some comments here. I just want to read a few more, then get back to this and finish it up. That's right, Travis. Absolutely. The left is a Trojan horse for Islam. Absolutely. I would say it's a Trojan camel. It's like huh, I made a cartoon about that. The left is here to, is it going to fuck with America? Okay. We're good with it for now. Even though, guys, when communism and Islam meet, like in Iran, right? What happened to the communists after the Islamic Revolution with the Ayatollah? What happened, guys? Murdered, imprisoned, or converted. There was no more the communist movement. So these guys can work together for a time, but when it comes to push to shove, each one wants to take over the other. Each one wants to rule it over the other. So it's even a war, between them. Of course, Shanth. Check it out, guys. Check out the campaign. The trailer is great. Shanth makes the best trailers, hands down. I remember seeing a number of the trailers, and then I saw Fearsome trailer. I was like, holy shit, that's a great trailer. And I found out you did it. I was like, wow. It's just cuts to the bone, 30 seconds, in, out, gives you a great feeling of the story, of what's going on, with great imagery, animated, and that's all you needed. It's like awesome. Art says, hail Shanth. Listening to the rest of that stream with you and Bosch got me through work today. Awesome, man. Awesome, Art. Of course, Shanth. You're very welcome, man. Great stuff. DJ Grave Mix says, yeah, but Sonic deserves it. I'd love to see some new Alex Kidd games. Sorry, I'm a little lost there. I don't know about video games. I'm not against them. I'm not opposed to them. I just don't know too much about them. I checked out a while back. There's something that I can't get into it without getting into certain things in my life. So let me just keep it there. Liam says, I think it is because Spring Ball doesn't have any tatter, lots more round shapes in his design. Really, really phenomenal user perspective. I mean, incredible. And the color scheme is something that interesting, man. It's just like, it's not something that you would picture with that kind of hero, but it works, especially with the color design that you chose for the entire, story. And that's what I want to. I want to keep that in mind when I color my drawing a Spring Ball. That very unique, warm colors you use. Except for him, he looks like a cold color. Maybe it's to knock off the warmth. Who knows? To differentiate him from his background. Thanks, Shanth. Your Spider-Man was dynamite, Bosch. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I drawn him a number of times. Love, Spider-Man. I love drawing that incredible suit. I got this video also. I'll mention it again. I got this video of me breaking down why I think that the Ramirez took Ditko's brilliant design, took it next level, and what they were thinking about it. And it's worth checking out, guys, if you're interested in those kind of necessary details. I think because they brought again a symmetry, a cylindrical aspect to the suits, to the way they wrapped around his body. Everything, it was consistent. They always knew from every angle where those lines would be. And again, it's not like it's realistic because you look at the back of his head here, right? The webs wouldn't be going that way, but who gives a shit? Because it's more aesthetically pleasing. This guy's. The webs would be going because the way they go on the mask, on the other way, they'd be going this way, right? This way. But the Ramita said, nah, it looks better this way on an aesthetic level, and it does. It looks like a cylinder. It looks like he's wrapping around like a basketball almost type thing. It just looks better, more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And as artists, why the hell wouldn't we do that? Why would we try to stick to a reality that doesn't necessarily uh, look better? Alex Ross will do that at times, where he makes like, well, the web's got to go this way, and it loses. I got this big poster of Spider-Man here from Ross, and while it's really good, there's some elements that he deliberately tried to make quote unquote realistic and lost me a little. But he understands what Romita was doing in terms of. Let me show you guys quick. This is one of my things on my desk, on my shelves. Uh, the Spider-Man by Alex Ross, right? Now, guys, again, I always say this, and I'll always say it. If you guys are bored with it, too bad, man. Sorry. Nose line, mouth line. Ramita established that. He said, I'm going to try to pull out the humanity out of this mask. I'm going to try to make him look like a human, even though it's a completely covered mask. And it's also the design work. It's one line there, and then one line around his jaw. And then, of course, Alex Ross, being the quote unquote realist that he is, fucked up and made this flabby, limpy lines. Because why? Because those lines are going that way. So, yeah, but you could have made this line relatively straight, this line here, and then made the other ones go the other way and have a really cool, better look. He could have done that, but he didn't. And as you can see also here, guys, in my drawing of the Hobgoblin Spider-Man, of course, it's the Romita Senior / Junior version, with a line work there. It's fun. It's just fun. And I have to ship that out actually. A guy ordered it that night, and I had little computer problems. I had to talk to a few Apple geniuses, quote unquote, and the third one was an actual genius. I mean, he figured it out. Fantastic. It really helped me. And now I got a lot more space. I got a lot more stuff. But I had to re-upload third-party apps, a number of them, which took a little trouble. But I had a real hassle putting this eCam back up also because I had to redo it all. But now it's all good to go. If you guys can hear me well, awesome. Again, thanks for being here, guys. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate your company. And let me finish this up here. Let me read a few more comments, and then let me finish comic, and then get going. Got a lot to do. Why isn't this? Why isn't this? Okay. It's a lot smaller than it should be, though. I don't like that. Why is it a lot smaller? If you guys can see it clearly, I hope so. I do want to expand some of the images, though. Yeah, Trojan Camel. Sean Allen, why you no share? Don't know what that means, Sean. Mike gets a spring ball is awesome. Spring ball is awesome design, like a Spawn Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's whatever it's inspired by is clearly Shanth's. That's his thing. It's his interpretation of it, and also the color scheme again, and that face, Shanth, incredibly unique. Once it's established, also now you do what McFarlane did in this sense, where you gave, your character like a flat face, right? As far as I know, but he's not human. So it doesn't work with Spider-Man because we know that he's a human, beneath that mask. But this one works, and there's something awesome about again the short nose, the long upper lip. There's something about that. Characters I love drawing that way. Pigman, I do them that way. Pigman, his name is Frank Warner. He's a human, but when he puts on a mask, his nose is slightly shorter because I don't want to have a huge snout. It didn't look good. And believe me, I went through all my, you know, trials. And at first, he had a pink mask, believe it or not, guys. Pink goddamn mask. And then I realized, no, no. 1 second, guys. I can put this away and get one thing back quick. Speaking of Pigman, just quick. Going all over the place again, guys. Apologize, but I showed this on the Shanth's channel the all night. And if you guys haven't seen this, check this out. This is Pigman in all his 3D glory. And if you notice the nose, right? It's smaller when he puts on the mask. I take a little liberty there. Why? Because I just like it more aesthetically. A longer upper lip. He looks like almost like an ape. There's something about that. A bruiser. You know, and it just makes him a little more formidable, a little more scary. I think a little more like a beast, which is what the Islamic enemy calls him, the beast. They don't want to. They don't want the word pig coming out of their lips, even in Arabic or whatever. All these other languages, they don't want to even say the word, so they call him the beast. That's what he is to them, the beast. Okay, now I can do this better, actually. Okay, now we're talking. Good, 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 good. I can blow it up better. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Yep, that's right, Liam. Speaking of suit, look at how good all the folds are and the cloth movement on the Hobgoblin. Absolutely right. So damn well done. And again, this was the norm back then. This was what was expected from comic book artists. You don't have that kind of classic design anymore, that know-it-all art where everything is rock solid. The perspective's great, the anatomy's great, the storytelling, the clothing, the design work, everything just works beautifully. These guys were masters, and they still are. Um, that's right, Flady. LOL, a Middle East Disneyland. I'm sure that will work out. Absolutely right. And the word is also that Disney will not have as much financial control over it. I think they're not going to make as much as they would otherwise. But what I mean, think about what it will be and what they will not be able to have, guys. You think they're gonna have these goddamn trans guys in dresses with mustaches walking up to little kids? You think they're gonna have that? Unfucking real. Unreal. We are here in the middle of a war, a global war. People pretend that, well, not only was long ago. Oh, really? 600 people 2 weeks ago were murdered. 1,000 people last month alone were murdered in the name of Islam across the globe. And I all see it as a global jihad. I don't need to be at my doorstep to know that it exists and that it's happening. It's still a war. It's still going on. We pretend it doesn't. And we pretend also that, we had a 20-year war. Give me a fucking break. If we had a 20-year war, there'd be no enemies left. Meaning, if we unleashed our soldiers and doing what they are, built to do, there will be no Islamic enemy. We never did that. So this idea that we spent 20 years not fighting war, that's what we spent, not fighting war. And also, you got India with the Pakistan now, right? And you have the history of India is that, according to estimates, it's one of the greatest genocides ever. 80 million Indians killed by Muslims, 80 million across the centuries. They can't live with, I mean, we will get to the point where we will not be able to coexist with our communist and Islamic enemies. We won't. They're going to force also the issue. People worried about what we're going to do. No, no, no. We should be worried about what they're going to do. We're always worried about. It's like we take their attacks as the given, and then we're just worried about the reaction. It's like people. That's why I wrote the other day. I said, all these rats, right? The rats on the right who are collectivists, who don't see people as individuals, who are, they hate Jews and they hate others and so on. You got the left, you got Muslims. They hate counterterrorism more than terrorism. That's a fact. Dave Smith, all these schmucks, Tucker Carlson, all these rats who are crying about war with Iran. It's like Iran has their theme song, Death to America. They've murdered Americans. They've kidnapped Americans. They want war. This idea that, these war hawks in America want war with Iran, the fuckers want war. They're dying for war with us. Anyway, I can go on, guys, but that's the nature of live stream. We're going to a little deviate off of this. And again, I don't know if those who are involved with this kind of mainstream work here that I'm trying to read here would appreciate this, but hey, too bad. I don't leave anything off of here. Personal stuff, yes, but that's about it. Ideas, absolutely not. Um, hmm. That's right, Sean. Yeah, pork mince sounds pink and wrong. Yeah. So again, it wasn't until I had that eureka moment. I was like, pigskin leather. I love that look. A rust color. It's actual real. I got this pigskin leather band here. There's something about it, and it works visually on Pigman. So that's right, Trevor. I'm sure Disney's plans won't blow up in their face. That's right. Absolutely right, Mikey Getz. Bush was a pussy is why. Absolutely right. He didn't unleash our soldiers. That fucker said Islam means peace. He crippled our war effort, the dummy. And he also was flanked by a CARE who were stealth jihadists in a mosque after 9/11. And they're looking like at each other like, man, we got this. We can actually tamp down the reaction to the atrocity that we put on America. JEC says, imagine being the guy having to wear a Donald Duck suit and, wow, you're absolutely right, 120-degree desert heat. My God, it's hilarious. You got these communists and you got these Muslims getting together to try to make this amusement park in a place that still probably beheads people and so on. And, you got the Saudis, people on the right sometimes talk them up. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That bitch, Tucker Carlson, goes to Saudi Arabia with his counterpart, Piers Morgan. There's no difference between them, guys. They're two media whores for 30 years, at least 30 years. Media whores will go any which way. A little left when they work for CNN, as Tucker did, MSNBC, as he did, and then a little right when he goes work for Fox, and now a little left when he works, for his own, even though he's being funded by a Muslim, a Pakistani, by the way. And all of a sudden, Tucker used to be against jihad. A lot of these guys used to be against jihad. They're no longer against jihad. Why? After 10/7, they stopped being anti-jihad, and that tells you who they are. Because they like those victims, they're not innocent, so it's not really jihad. That's what they were thinking about. Anyway, DJ Grave Mix says, I guess the Jews make them do it or something, Zionist, blah, blah. That's right. Art, imagine having to wear the Minnie Mouse costume in an XXX hijab. My God. Hilarious. A huge suit, cover up every inch. All right, guys. Thanks. I'm going to continue here, and then I'll get going. Okay. So, first encounter of the Hobgoblin with Spider-Man. He sure has a goblin's old gimmicks up his sleeve, though. Nice try, Chuckles, but you'll have to be faster than that. I must get out of here. I love this because this is just a man at this point. It's just a man. He's not superpowered. He's like, oh, fuck, I got this superpowered being here. He goes, I must get out of here. I'm not prepared to deal with him yet. Besides, there's nothing of value here for me. So he flies out. Spider-Man's like, hey, don't fly off in a huff. I've hardly had a chance to say hi. Thwip, if this character thinks he can lose me that easily, he's dead wrong. What's your hurry, blabbermouth? Don't tell me that you're afraid of little old me. I love his attitude, man. So here we go. The Hobgoblin fears no one, and while he's scared shit, throws it. Kablam! Hobgoblin, huh? Well, he certainly plays for keeps. That pumpkin bomb packed more explosive than any the old goblin ever carried. Interesting little line there because it tells you that he amped them up a little. And that he knows how to. This guy is either foolhardy or inexperienced or both. Probably both. He gets these bricks. If you just wanted to play catch hobby, you should have said so. Here, catch. Great anatomy there. Great movement by Romita Jr. Fantastic. And he's like, holy shit. All the stories, all the accounts of his exploits failed to do Spider-Man justice. I clearly can't outrun him. I love that. The self-awareness, at least. even though he's a bad guy. But he's not crazy. Again, he's not the Green Goblin in that way. He's smarter, ruthless, and he seems like more of an adventurer. Like he's in this for to get off on it almost. He doesn't need it. He's a wealthy guy. So I'd best try a little offense. He must be getting desperate, tossing these cornball bats at me. They can't be more than a momentary annoyance. So how come my spider sense is tingling? Youch! There's the answer. These babies are razor sharp. I don't know what keeps them airborne, but they're swarming around me like flies around overripe fruit. I'm fast enough to avoid all but the most superficial nicks and cuts. Okay, Hobby, you just made me mad. So I guess he introduced himself here. The Hobgoblin fears no one. Okay. That's where he goes, Hobgoblin, huh? Okay, so that's where he first introduced the name to at least Spider-Man. Okay, Hobby, you just made me mad, and that was a big mistake. Really? It was a mistake, all right. For me, I telegraphed that leap by a mile. Me and my big mouth. A foolish move, my friend. Fortunately, I have an item in my bag of tricks, which will enable me to take greater advantage of your error. Whoosh. The Amazing Spider-Man. Big deal. Right now, I feel more like the Amazing Doofus. After all I've been through in the past few days, my mind must still be on hold. I'd better snap it before BAWAM! That's a good shot there. Really nicely done. Within the smoke. Gas. That figures. The Green Goblin had a whole range of gas bombs in his arsenal. Unfortunately for old Hobby, I got myself a good lungful of air before his little party favor went off. This stuff won't even slow me down. What's more, I can use it as ground cover for the next few moments. Hobgoblin can't see me, but if I concentrate on the old spider sense, I ought to be able to draw a bead on him with no trouble. And again, that's just a great fist right there. You can make a limpy fist, isn't that? But he made it powerful. And again, the line work, I love it. Wraps around the finger there, the knuckle right there, and then there. It's just nice, man. The bones, everything just works. Okay, so he gets him. Thwap. That's it. Come to earth, baby. Great shot. Great inking there also to show the musculature. His build, he's rock solid. And this is a great writing and the drawing because he came slamming on that ground. Planting his feet firmly on the pavement, Spider-Man calls upon his uncanny clinging ability to stand his ground. His webbing stretches to the end of its elastic point and holds so that... Thoom. Welcome back, Hobgoblin. The masquerade's over and it's time for you to unmask. He goes, no! No, he must discover who I am. The disgrace will be too great. And that tells you little about who he might be. He's probably a public figure of some sort. If he's that scared to be unmasked. Holy! His hand blaster ripped into the street excavation and blew a gas line. And the explosion weakened a second line. The fire is spreading. This whole neighborhood could go up in flames if I don't do something fast. In seconds, using a half-ton steel plate, the mighty masked adventurer scoops aside hundreds of pounds of asphalt and gravel, again showing off his strength, the way Roger Stern always did, the way Jim Shooter did in the Secret Wars. I love that aspect. He's not a street level. He's a powerhouse. He happens to, work the streets at times, but overall he gets all these crazy villains as well. He's not just this, he's not Daredevil or Batman. And he explode, okay, and there, that's what I'm looking for. The main feeder line, crimp. No gas, no fire. It worked. The danger's over. No scratch. No, scratch that. The fire's out. That's all. Hobgoblin got away. I was like, fuck. And look at this. A great tell by Ramita to tell how damaged he is. The little lines there. Indeed, at that moment, a score of blocks away, I knew that he goes, I knew that Spider-Man would be a difficult opponent, but I never imagined it would be like this. I feel as though I've just run in a marathon, heart's pounding, every muscle aches. It's all I can do to hang onto my jet glider. Great shot. Oops. Great shot. How on earth was the Green Goblin able to stand up Spider-Man as many times as he did? He must have had some secret, but what? I must find out. I will find out. And when I do, I shall humble Spider Man as he's never been humbled before. And back in Greenwich Village, brother, today's been a total washout. It's a great shot there. I slept most of the day away. I let the hobgoblin get away from me, and I think I may have burnt my hand in the process. Wonderful. At least I know what I'm up against in the hobgoblin. Of course, I still don't know who he is or if he knows who I am. That should bother me more. Yeah, because he's worried that the Green Goblin's journals were being read by Hobgoblin, and he thinks that the Green Goblin, since he knew who Peter Parker was, that he was Spider-Man, it might be in the journals. So that's in the back of his head, and it could endanger those he loves. So that should bother me more. But right now, with Doctor Octopus still on loose and the Black Cat on the critical list, I just can't muster enough energy to work. What a life! Think I'll go home, put on my spare costume, and go see if Felicia's improved any. Yeah, and maybe grab a donut on the way. There's one good point about all this. Things couldn't possibly get any worse, could they? And then they have this preview for the next cover. It's fantastic, guys. Look at that. Um, Bob Layton came in here and inked, and he inked also the issue. Again, John Romita Jr. had it's unfortunate his run on that first run of Amazing Spider-Man because he had different inkers every issue. Some were good, some were bad, and so on. There was no consistency there. The only consistency was Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. for like 25 issues, 24 issues. I think they did together 2 years. And here, guys, one second. Spider-Man began with the black and red costume that Ditko created in Amazing Fantasy, and then Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, and then by issue 5 or 6, it started to lose some of the black and got more blue, but to the point where it was all light blue and red, which I didn't like. And then, 20 years later, issue 241, the issue after this. In this issue, you still have the light blue and red, even though it's more black on here than usual. At the end, he gets knocked out, right? And the next issue, you see a full shot of Spider-Man's suit. It's all black and red. The black is back, where it's mostly black with little blue highlights. And that, to me, looks dramatic as hell. And that's why the costume in Spider-Man Far From Home was probably the best of the movies. It had that beautiful look, that very dramatic look also, guys. It's fantastic, man. Let me go check out some comments here and then make my pitch, and then I'm going to get going. I got to check out, I got to do a few things and also have in the background the game, Knicks versus Celtics. If you don't mind, give me 1 second, guys. I want to find out where we're at with that. Again, I've been watching the NBA. I haven't done it in 5 years. 5 years. Why? Again, because that first commercial break 5 years ago, they said racism is everywhere in a goddamn commercial. I said, fuck you guys, I'm out. And that was it. I'm sick of this shit. BLM and all that crap. Okay, Trevor says, will the ears be covered by the hijab? What does Allah say about ears? That's true, all these animals. And how about, is there a pig in Porky Pig? No, that's WB. That's Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes. Is there a pig in Disney? Huh. Mike Guess says the Spider-Man P64 PS4 game has a good story too. You can watch it. The cutscenes on YouTube. Cool. Halftime. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mikey. I'm definitely going to check out at least the fourth quarter. I've been watching mainly the fourth quarters. Slowly getting back because I can't stand LeBron. He's a piece of shit. He's a flop master. He's the king of flops, really. That's about it. I mean, look, you would want him on your team if you had the chance, but in terms of all-timer, give me a break. You got Jordan. It's not even close. It's not. I know people like to pretend it is. This guy's been playing now for 22 years. Jordan played for, 13? Maybe. Of course, his stats are overflowing over Jordan. Of course they are. He played hundreds and hundreds of more games. Yeah, Goofy is a dog. That's a problem too. That's right, Art. The dog is filthy, according to Islam. I think Muhammad was afraid of dogs. I think that's it. I don't think it was more than that. But guys, check this out. Um, if you haven't backed it, please consider backing it. I'm going to play Shanth's Pigman trailer. Let me. Sorry, guys. Okay. If you hear me, guys, let me know if you can while I play this because I think I can't hear the video. I have to figure that out, guys. I can't hear the video. Um, I want to share something with you guys also. If you haven't seen it, this is me 2011. 2011 at the David Harwitz Freedom Center Restoration Weekend. Oops. How many Muslims celebrate 9/11? Okay. How many Muslims celebrate 9/11? Far too many. We don't even know. In America, Middle East, Europe. And imagine in the past if we referred to enemy ideologies such as radical Nazism, militant communism. That kind of thinking leads us to try to find moderate Nazis. You know, uh, Thank you. Yeah, that was me, 2011. The David Horowitz invited me there, and I went there mainly to see Robert Spencer take it to Andrew C. McCarthy about whether the issue is Islam or Islamism. And they had a debate online that spread into other areas, and then it was going to get in-person debate. And a few hours prior to the debate, as Robert Spencer mentioned the other day, actually, they wanted to up the ante. They wanted to give, Andrew C. McCarthy a partner, a tag team partner. And then David told Robert to have me on. I didn't know that because I had met David a few months prior to that. I did my first speech, 2011, in California, in Hollywood, right around there, and I was flanked with two guards, left and right. And David was there. We had dinner prior to that, and then we spoke after, and I was doing work for the Freedom Center. So he is the one. I didn't know this until the other day, which is wild. I always assumed it was just the moderator, but the moderator would not have chosen me, especially if she knew, my position, because we kicked their asses. I mean, completely. And that was a little taste. If you guys can hear me, I hope you can. I'm sorry if you didn't. Huh. That's right, Art. Moderate clowners. It was the vampires. Is that what it was? And that Mike Barron supposedly took him up on the offer of maybe writing it. It's funny, these organic things come through the streams, I think Rainbow the Brute, I believe, came out like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think, but Mike Barron did say he's going to take it up. So I don't know if it's that much of a joke, Mikey. I know they like to joke a lot, but we'll see. Anyway, so if you haven't backed Pigman, please consider backing the guys. I would really appreciate your support. In short, it is the Islamic background of twins comes to the forefront of their lives, 9/11, which is echoed by the comic book within Pigman vs. Superchild. It's two stories in one. As I mentioned on Chance also showed the other day, like the Twin Towers, the Twin Brothers, the Twin Stories. The Albanian flag has two-headed eagle, twin-headed, I guess you can call that, and so on and so on. This dualism factor. The story of the brothers echoes the story of Pigman versus Super Jihad. They were like brothers. They were partners. They wrote against Islamic Jihad for years. And thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Putting the link. Thank you. So yeah, guys, I have 5 different covers. I'll be closing this in July at some point, early or late. I don't know 100% yet, but I do want to. I don't know how to go about in terms of the closing thing. I think some of the guys close, but it's not an actual full close. It's like a, I don't know. It's a mid campaign close. If you guys can tell me, because I like to know that, because I wouldn't mind doing that. You know, get a little burst of backers and then go for the end game. For the final closeout. Try to make it as big as I can. That's what I want. I want to have as many comics out there as possible, and then I'm thinking once you guys read it, once you understand it, I think you would want to jump into issue 2. I really believe that. I really believe that. So I got a 9-page preview, guys. I have a number of rewards. I added my first graphic novel, Table for One, 2024. I published that. It was with the Marvel, DC was sent all over, and then it was Random House, which is the most serious about it. But they sat on it for so long that I say, you know what, I can't. I want to get it out there, and I eventually did. I self-published it, and then when I was nominated for an Eisner and also for a Russ Manning Most Promising Newcomer Award, I got more interest from some other publishers. So, but I'm glad I did it on my own. That's it. I sold about 2,000 copies out of the gate, and people were actually shocked at the small press conventions, even 20 years ago. I was like, to me, I was like, yeah, 2,000, that's it. They're like, 2,000? I was like, what? They thought that was like great. And I was like, I want a lot more. I want this to go out across the world as much as I possibly can. It's my first book. It's a unique story. It takes place one night in an underground restaurant in Manhattan. I use my restaurant background. Excuse me, my Islamic background, as I'm using here. My restaurant background. I worked as a waiter for years, and I wanted to use it like a mini world. And as I used to pitch it on all these conventions, I said, "Dirty Harry as a waiter." People said, "Okay, I get it. I get the gist." Um, there are battles in Pigman that go off the battlefield. There are cultural battles, there are philosophical battles, there are religious battles, and so on. And this is a little taste of that, where you got 9/11 comics. You have a Muslim cartoonist, a Catholic one, an atheist, communist, and then an atheist here also for a Pigman. And it's fun. It's really fun, guys. And then here also, you got Pigman. Here's a new reward trading card. It's part of my original cover to The Infidel featuring Pigman from years ago. And I expanded a little. And I think it makes a good card. There's also another card. You get to see Pigman, jumping from the cliffs. It's a literal cliffhanger at one part. Part 1's a literal cliffhanger. Part 2 comes out here. But this is all in issue 1. It's issue 1 and 2 put together, but remastered, expanded, just better, just a better quality issue. And I don't say this enough. I don't think, but this thing, when I explain Pigman's chess symbol, I always say September 11th, but it's obvious, and maybe it's not obvious. Those are the Twin Towers. I mean, I guess it's obvious, but September 11th. It's an 11 and the towers. And then line 911, the 2 dents make it a 3, 93, flight 93. And then also the first attack on the Twin Towers, 1993. And then, of course, a traditional S like Superman and a Pigman, a capitalist pig. It's a dollar sign. He is a capitalist pig, no doubt about it. Yeah, so thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the commentary. I always enjoy it. It's been pretty damn good, guys. I mean, I had some rats coming in waves at one point here and there, and I had to deal with them. But overall, you guys have been great, man. Thank you very much. You come in here and call me a Mossad agent. I'm not going to necessarily block you. I'll laugh at you a little. I'll roast you a little. But there's a point where I will block you when you start to really tell some vicious lies. And that's when you're out. It's like, I can tolerate assholes and I'll roast you guys, but once you start telling some vicious lies, you are out. Absolutely, I will not allow you to use my platform to spread your propaganda. I just won't do it, whether you're commies or Muslims or whatever. So, here's a little history about what I've done here. Eisner Award nominee, debuted my first book, Table 4, in 2004. I created Pigman not long after 9/11. He appears in my comics and books. I've written, drawn 7 books. I've written articles, and I have drawn cartoons for Breitbart, PJ Media, Jihad Watch, Front Page Magazine, The Limbo Letter. I knew Andrew Breitbart. I met him, spoke to him for hours on the phone. Met him at this one. It was a weekly party in Hollywood for a while. A great man, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and a lot of fight in him that we need. We have too few fighters on the right, too few. We have mostly people who want to present themselves as good, but they're sure as hell not good enough to recognize evil, and sure as hell not good enough to fight it. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. Please consider backing Pigman. I would really appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to show you one thing also. I I told you about the X ads, right? No, not ads. More like uh, this is okay. This is an ad. Okay, more like posts that I turn into ads. So they have a new option. It's a $25 option. It's cheaper than the ones that they had recently, and I stopped using them because there wasn't enough. It wasn't enough boost. 5,000. It was like, for that money, absolutely not. So I used the cheaper $25 version just to test it, right? And it has 75,000 views. That's pretty damn good, guys. And I got a lot of interaction from a lot of rats, Muslims and communists. So I said, Pigment is hated by Muslims, communists, and collectivists on the right, and it's made for those who love truth, justice, and American way. Help make Pigment #1 happen and fund my comic. Here he is in all his glory. The jihadist's worst nightmare explodes their bigotry with his pigskin leather, of course. It's fun, something that I could not have imagined not doing after 9/11. People say, "Oh, you're worried about doing this?" No, I'm worried about not doing things like this. That's what I'm worried about. We have our freedom. We might as well make the most of it while we have it. And that way, I think we can make sure that we do have it. So, also, I said, why would someone get a tattoo of Pigman? Find out by backing Pigman #1. And that's my point here, you know. This guy didn't even read the comic, and I said, "You didn't read the comic?" He loved the concept of an anti-child superhero. I was like, "Holy shit!" I said, "I got to get you my stuff," because it was someone who knew him, and I was like, "I got to get this guy my stuff." So, how cool is that? It's awesome. Um, all these guys, haha, charade, you are. It's hilarious. Bullseye collectivists, and they were really going after me. Because it's going to fail because it sucks, not because it's racist. I said, oh, poor girl. Sounds hateful to me, only to the hateful. And these people, I got to ban them, block them, because they will just spam my comments here, which I don't want them to. I'm not going to give them free reign, you know. So how do I? Okay, you want one, Trevor? Okay, I'll give you a wrench. Absolutely. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the actual. 1 second, Trevor. My man, Trevor. Okay. Are we good, Trevor? Let me know. I don't see a difference when I tap your name. I don't see a wrench next to you. I see a wrench next to Mikey. I gave him the wrench recently. Let me know. 1 second. Remove and put in. I did make you a wrench. I don't see it here though on visual level. I see it on Mikey's, but I don't see it on yours. But let me know, Trevor. Appreciate it. So yeah, guys. Also, one last thing here. Huh. Are you talking to me, Mucky? Okay, so I got 5 of 20 left of my recreations of my Muhammad cartoon. Okay, when you chat, I guess Trevor, I guess it locks it in the wrench. Very very cool. Art, do you want one? Art, you guys been here for a while. I got no problem, with you guys. I will question other guys. Okay, awesome, Trevor. My man has the power. Oh, you're abusing it already. I'm sorry. All right, guys. So hey, if you're interested, it's $500. I know it's expensive, but I almost died for this cartoon, for this one in particular. I was at that event to defend free speech, to express it, and the two rats who came to kill us died for it. Fantastic. So I got 5 left, guys, out of 20. I think it's well worth 500. So consider getting it. It's on boschwalls.com. Back Pigman, please. And also this one, I'll be getting it this week. I'll be able to get my hands on it finally. A reprint. I had to take the hit, unlike every July, who just blocked me, by the way. I called him out and I said, you can't keep lying about this. I mean, you fucked up. You should have said so. Instead, you're lying to your audience. I said, that's why you're losing supporters. That's why. And then he said something, we never lied to her. I said, that's the biggest lie you ever told. And then, of course, he blocked me. But what are you going to do? Anyway, so, all right. Art, of course, man. You guys have proven yourselves to be solid. And I appreciate it. Very, very cool. Unfortunately, there's no more, super chats. That sucks. The bastards demonetized me. Sucks. But again, you want to support me? Get my work, Back Pigman, get Muhammad on the Run, the flip book, and you know who's there. You know who's there, guys. It's not just Muhammad. Who's Muhammad running from is the question. God damn, he blocked you. And I have one more copy, I believe. Yes, I have one more left, only of Peaceful Death Threats, guys. One more left. It's hundreds of death threats that I have in there, alongside new Mama cartoons created in response to these new death threats and so on. So it's fun. I have some stickers of Trump, Pigman, and I have a number of out of print things. All right, guys. Thanks, Flutterbat. Appreciate it. Yes, great stream, Bosch. Glad we got some decent mods in here. Absolutely. I appreciate it, guys. At some point, I think you guys will definitely have your work cut off for you, because there'll be some rats coming in here hard. The way they came onto my X today, they really came hard. But that's the nature of this. Once you take on this threat, you're going to get a lot of shit, not just from Muslims, but communists as well. And even rats on the right who really belong on the left. And I can talk about that one day. But guys, you take care. That's right. Art. My precious. I'm going to cover it in pig fat. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Dip it in pig fat. Absolutely. Guys, you take care. Be well. Until next time, thank you very much, as always. And Back Pigman, please, if you haven't, please. I want to make some real impact and go to issue 2 and so on. So thanks, guys. Take care. Be well. Thank you very much, man. Take care. Until next time.